Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Bell, Chief Administrative Officer with the Crimson Political Action Council, and I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to be with Ms. Kandie Smith, Incumbent North Carolina State Senator, District 5. I'm very glad for you to be here with me. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for the invite to be here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. A lot of things going on. We have what's become a historic run by Vice President Harris running for the office of presidency. We have a lot of going on. And I'm concerned that some of this, and that's good news, but some of this may obscure something that we feel here at Crimson Political Action Council that needs to be addressed is the prospect of the implementation of Project 2025. Our initiatives are diametrically opposed to Project 2025. KPAC, we are pro-union, pro-public education, most certainly are pro-women and women's rights. We believe that women are the sole proprietors of their own bodies. And we're pro-common man. We believe in access to obtain opportunity. And just what I've seen in that proposal, however you wish to call it, runs counter to that. And so I'm thinking, as someone who's a seasoned legislator, and I'm sure familiar with the tenets of Project 2025, we'd like to have your thoughts.
Well, first, I'm vehemently opposed to Project 2025 because I think it wants to dismantle our democracy. I believe in being of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what Project 2025 does, it promotes autocracy, an authoritarian type of rule. Like one man can be a king. We're not Russia. And we have checks and balances in place for a reason. And so what Project 2025 does, it is inequitable in its proposal of what it wants to do. It is wanting to get loyalists, and that's people who are behind one person to work in all of the positions to dismantle what we have as far as our checks and balances. That's not a good thing. It is something that can be done or is expected to be done after the elections. If there is success from the GOP side, it will only be 180 days before Project 2025 is implemented. And typically, if we look at how we learn civics, we have a legislative branch, we have the executive branch, and we have that judicial branch, and we have to kind of have that balance. Well, it would no longer require a balance, because if it's implemented within 180 days, that means the executive branch, which is that presidential branch alone, can implement everything from that Project 2025 policy. That is scary in the least. Some of the things they're doing is trying to cut out Social Security, encouraging the Medicare, Medicaid to be cut out, Affordable Care Act to be cut out, increasing the age for retirement, dismantle public education. And when I say dismantle, completely dismantle public education. They're also trying to dismantle the FBI. You know why? There's checks and balances. They only want people to work for them and not for us. And so when we're looking at increasing people's age for retirement, but they've worked hard all of their life, that is an issue. It's too much power to give one person. I will say that. It's too much power to give to one person without checks and balances. And to me, it is not acceptable. It's a 922-page document. And I will do all that I can to continue to educate the electorate of the harms of this policy proposal. It cannot be realized. We can't sit and say, well, we don't think it's going to be bad, or we don't want to know. We don't want to find out. So therefore, it is important and imperative that we are getting out the vote, not just registering people, but we must mobilize. We must get out the vote. And I tell people, if you don't believe me, go read it for yourself.
Yeah. And just to jump in, you're thinking about everything that you just mentioned. What, if that's implemented, what's your assessment of what it would do with regards to the opportunities for upward mobility from poor and working class people?
Well, there will be no upward mobility for poor and middle class people. And the reason why I say that, because if they take out people who are currently in their positions at the state level, at the federal level, and put who they want in, that's who they want in. So although you may have the education and the knowledge, they are not trying to promote you. It talks a lot about DEI. We already know that we're under attack, right? So because of your race, of your color, they're trying to say that you're not qualified. When we know that many of us are more qualified than our peers, but it's who you know, not necessarily what you know. And so if they put the loyalists in place, then that upward mobility that you were looking for will only happen if you're one of those people who decide to break ranks and say, I am not going to work with my people. I'm going to work against my people. What the reason why they want to dismantle their education is because they want us not to have the opportunity to go to higher education. And they want us to stay in positions and just work for them. So that up mobility that people say, well, I can do this, I can do that. All of that is out the window. And that's another reason why it's so dangerous. I mean, just think about what they're doing. They're banning books. They don't want us to have history. They don't want us to know what happened in the past. They're trying to deregulate big business, especially when you look at the oil industry. It's about making money for them. It is about a profit. And it is about power. And if they're trying to get profit and power, they ain't trying to give it to you.
That's one thing I learned. I'm a Knoxville College graduate, HBCU, and one of the most profound things I had a professor, Dr. James Lantrum, said. He described politics as the system of the allocation of resources.
It is.
And if you look at everything top to bottom, there's no dispersal of resources for people to move up. You know, you
right.
creating some pretty, and then that's also another way to sneak in privatizing everything without coming out and saying out loud, we're going to privatize everything. You know, I think
they ain't gonna sneak it in. They ain't gonna sneak it in. They're gonna go ahead and do it, because once there's control and they're in these positions, that means we can't tell them, oh, you have to go out and put a bid out anymore. No, they're gonna hire their friends. They're gonna hire their family. They're gonna hire who they want. And what can we say if one person has the say-so about how everything runs? What can we say when they take away the checks and the balances of how things are happening? We really can't say anything. What they want us to do is be dependent upon them, to have to keep our jobs, and for us not to want to elevate.
I guess one question, if you discuss Project 2025 between the criminal justice system, women's rights, and education, what are your thoughts on those? How do you think in those areas, if that program was implemented, what impact would it have?
So the impact it would have on criminal justice. We see what happened to the young lady in Chicago when that police crucified her in her own home while she was down, almost on her knees, and he shot her. It's already stated that the police will be given immunity and they will be empowered to do their job. That's what is stated. Well, really what that means is, if we want to have a police arrested or held accountable. That's not going to happen. That's going to be thrown out the window, which means we're going to have a lot more issues of situations like George Floyd and others that we should have never had in the first place. So our criminal justice will be out the window as we know it. If they're trying to get rid of the FBI so they don't want to be investigated, just imagine what would happen. They don't want any protests. They don't want any freedom of speech. So that's with the criminal justice part. If we look at education, they're trying to take public dollars now and put it into private schools or put it into religious schools because they want to dismantle public education. They don't want our kids to learn because they want our kids to work for them. When it looks at women's rights, they're trying to put us back. I would say back in the kitchen, but I think they want us to be back out in the shed. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the push to make sure that we don't have any rights over our bodies, they're saying things and trying to do things that will have women to continue to take a back seat. They don't want us to be CEOs. They don't want us to do anything. If a woman, let's say, wants to divorce her husband, but she's pregnant, she can't do it. If he rapes her, she got to stay. If she can't divorce him, they want to end no-fault divorce. They're trying to put women in situations that will make it where we are completely subservient and cannot use our brains like we would normally to be a help meet or mate. They want us to be way below that, almost putting us back in slavery, even as women. Because if it's said that you should do this or you should do that, that's what we want you to do. It's scary. It is very scary. We have not come this far without the equitable work of men and women together. We have not come this far without pushing, supporting, and providing a free education for our children. We have not come this far without fighting for criminal justice reform so that we cannot have people run roughshod and just do what they want to do because of the color of someone's skin, or they just don't like how they look or how they think or that they're different than them. That's an issue. That's how dangerous this is.
I agree. And, we could probably do this for another 4 or 5 hours, but we're not able to today. But I would love to see you again and continue our discussion. Ms. Kandie Smith, Incumbent North Carolina State Senator, District 5, thank you and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And good luck to you.
Thank you.